Hello. So in this video, we're gonna go over setting up a midnight validator again. Was a previous video as well, but some things have changed. Mainly, I think what changed is the partner-chain-dependencies. Kupo is removed. There are some new node versions and so on, but I think the main change is Kupo is removed, and well, the setup, the docs are a bit different. Hopefully improved a bit, but from what I saw, everything is pretty similar. So anyway, for midnight, same as before, we still need the Cardano node. Well, we need a Cardano stake pool first. So in this video, I'm not going to be setting up a stake pool. I have a stake pool here set up. This is my preview stake pool that's running. This is the live view of it. So from the stake pool, we need just the cold signing key of the pool, and we need the payment signing key and verification key for a wallet that's going to fund the registration transaction. But yeah, that wallet can be anything. The most important part is having the cold S key from the pool. So that's already set up. If you need help with setting up a pool on preview, you can look at the previous video. The whole setup is the same. We use CN tools to set up the pool. So what I'm showing here is like exactly the same. So I'm not going to go over it again. So we can go to the next area, which is the partner-chain-dependencies, which basically means Cardano DB Sync. So Midnight node depends on Cardano DB Sync. Depends on the database that Cardano DB Sync populates. So they call it partner-chain-dependencies. It's a dependency of the partner chain, which is Cardano. So we have in this setup Cardano node. Then Cardano node is feeding DB Sync the blockchain data. DB Sync is writing to a Postgres database. Midnight node is connecting to the Postgres databases and using it for its operation. At the same time, we have Ogmios, which we'll run it ourselves, but I saw in the docs that they make a, I don't know where exactly it is, but there's a public Ogmios API endpoint that you can use, so you don't have to run Ogmios yourself, but we'll just run it. It doesn't take a lot of resources anyway. It's just an API. But yeah, basically the Ogmios is used for the partner CLI wizard, which we use for registration of the Midnight node. Well, the Midnight validator. Okay, so that's the overview. Now there is this GitHub repo that has a Docker setup for both of these dependencies. So this is the Docker compose file for the dependencies, and then there is a compose file for the node. So we'll get to the node later. And first we need to set up the dependencies. So the dependencies are mainly DB Sync. So it's Cardano node is a requirement for DB Sync. That's in here. Postgres is a requirement for Cardano DB Sync. Then DB Sync is this one is 13.604. We can try running 13.605. I think that's the latest release. And then we have the Cardano Ogmios, which we'll also need to for the registration. So let's just keep going through the docs. Obviously, we're going to need Docker. We're going to be using Docker here. So the server I have for, I have created this Cardano keys thing where I have prepared my cold S key, payment S key, and V key, but we're only going to need those later when we do the actual registration. Right now, we just want to set up the partner-chain-dependencies, and then when those are synced, that's when we can actually do the registration. So it's going to take some time. So we need to install Docker, we need Docker Compose, and then they say configure to run in rootless mode. I don't know if this is a necessity. I don't see why it would be, but we'll follow the documentation. So install Docker engine. Okay, I mean, on this thing I don't have Docker. It's just a fresh Ubuntu server. And so where is the... Okay, so we are on Debian. We have Ubuntu here. Make sure you meet the prerequisites. I'm running 2404. So uninstall blah blah blah. Okay. Oh, so where are the prerequisites? Prerequisites. Okay. Remove older versions. I don't have any older versions, so I'm not gonna run this. So installation methods, Docker desktop, we're not using that. Docker's apt repository. This seems to be the simplest thing, so I think I'm just gonna run this to do the sudo password, and then run off all the other ones to get the GPG key. Okay, we add the repository and we update it, and then we can install the latest. So we should have Docker after that. Yeah, Docker service is running. Okay, so we can probably run this hello world and it should work. Pause, and it says yes, hello from Docker. Okay, great. So we have that done. Install Docker Compose. Version, I don't know. Okay, we have Docker Compose, right? Obviously. So we have Docker Compose, and now it's the rootless mode stuff. I haven't done this before, so let's see. It says prerequisites: you must install this new ID map and new GID map. UID, it's provided by this package. Okay, who am I? Let's see what this is. I guess that's fine. I don't know. Now let's see if we have this thing. Okay, I'll just run the install. Missing system requirements. Okay. Run the following commands to install the requirements and run the tool again. Okay. Okay, so we don't have the UID map. Fine. Docker setup tool. And now I'm just rerunning the thing that said I don't have the requirements. Okay. Okay, maybe I ran it too fast because I should have disabled the Docker service, but it seemed to have gone through. Started Docker service rootless. So if this is not present, but it was. Okay, let's see. I think this worked. Docker info, what am I supposed to see? Docker engine community, context is rootless. Cool, okay. So can I run it without sudo now? Cool. All right. So this is rootless mode activated, as far as I know. I think so. Now this IP table stuff. Let me think for a bit. So in the last video, we set up 3 servers. One is the Cardano stake pool, one was the partner-chain-dependencies, and then the third one was the Cardano node, the Midnight node. So in this setup, we have the stake pool, which I showed you, which is here, and we have this server. And on this server, we're gonna run both the partner-chain-dependencies, and we're gonna run the Midnight node. So in the previous one, we were connecting the partner-chain-dependency server with the Midnight node server, and now they will be in the same server. So I'm not sure if we need to block anything, but it's fine. Basically, what I'm concerned with is that whether this IP tables thing is because I remember in the last time, right? The issue is you have a firewall and you say, okay, I'm allowing traffic inwards on port 6000, and I'm not allowing anything else. And then you run a Docker container, and the Docker container doesn't respect that. So like everything that comes in, if the Docker container is exposing port 7000, you can still connect to it, even though the rule is not allowed. So apparently, this thing is enough to make it respect that. Okay, we need to write with sudo IP tables false. And now I have to restart Docker. Okay, fine. I want to see Docker info again. Is it still saying rootless? Yes, it is. Okay. And then UFV status. Okay, that's just my SSH port for now that's allowed. So, well, hopefully that's enough. That's what the doc says. So let's see. But I think like we don't need to. Yeah, we should block. Still, but okay, we have followed the instructions so far. Oh yeah, I think this is a new thing with dir env. So I saw that the repo now has this env rc, and basically we're gonna use this to set up some variables to run the dependencies. So I never installed this before. Let me see. What is this? I think this is our 2404, right? I guess I can check. What is it? Like LSB release. Yeah, codename Noble. Okay, so what? What is this? It's with tar. Can't I install it from apt? Is packaged. To install binary bins, you can bind. Oh, there we go. Okay, the last step is to configure your shell to use it. For example, for bash, add the following lines. Okay, I guess that's what it says here. Hook it into your shell. Yeah. Okay, so we edit our bash rc. No, that's not the line. Oh, I can't do this in VS Code. Okay, and then we restart the shell, which should be, well, I can just source bash rc, and now I should have dir env. Okay, so I have the binary in my path now. Dir env is installed. Okay. Source, same as the dot we used. Okay, so those are the prerequisites, right, for running this. So we have to now, we are ready to clone the repository. Why can't I clone it? Because it's using SSH. Okay, I'm just gonna use the HTTPS. So we have the okay. We cloned the repository, and now we can see what's here, but maybe it's better to look at it with the editor. So basically variables. So testnet 02 is what we're gonna use. That's the only network on Midnight now. And it's connected to the Cardano preview network. So it defines node image, bootstrap nodes. Okay. The rest is only accept signed commits. Okay, that's for commits to the repo. We're not gonna use that. Docker on Mac. We're not interested in Macs. Export Postgres host. Okay, so here we could change. I'm guessing the documentation says something about configuring all this. Yes. If when the file is acceptable, we run allow, and then apparently this command enables dir env to set the environment variables automatically when you enter the directory and unset them when you leave. Okay. Interesting. So that's what it's used for. Okay, if they want to do it that way, fine. They should not need changes, and this section is optional. Yeah, okay. And actually, in our case, I don't think they will need changing because we're running everything on the same server. But so Postgres variables. Okay, well, it doesn't say much about editing, but basically, if we wanted to connect to a Postgres database that we already have, like for example, actually this server, when I was running the pool, I'm also running dbsync here. I have the Postgres database here because I'm serving a Koios node instance from here. So I could connect the Midnight node to that Postgres database and not have to run Cardano dbsync here, but I'm not gonna do that. We basically did that in the previous video, right, where we gave the hold on, my bad. I was talking about like Midnight node connecting to the Postgres database, but here we are talking about dbsync connecting to a Postgres database. So in this case, what we have here, partner-chain-dependencies, we have Postgres, a Docker image, a Docker service running Postgres, right? Cardano dbsync is going to connect to this Postgres. And that's the same as it was in the previous video. There's no difference there, actually. So, but if we had a Postgres database somewhere that we wanted to populate instead of this one that we're going to create with Docker, we would put the host and the port and the user and the password and so on to authenticate with that database. And of course, it would need to be reachable and so on. But we're not getting into that. Okay, the name of the database, it's going to generate a random password. Docker, but not Podman, exposes ports to the internet by default. This needs to be unguessable. Exposes ports to the internet by default. Okay, fine, but if we have the firewall, it should be prevented anyway, right? We bring together the above variables, connection string, okay. append arguments. So these are some arguments for the midnight node. So this n file seems to be shared between. Oh, okay. I was saying the wrong thing. Like, these variables are actually for the midnight node. The Okay, yeah, the Postgres stuff. I guess I guess they are for both, right? Both the Cardano DB sync is gonna connect to them, and the midnight node is gonna connect to them. Yeah, it has the DB sync connection string here. But okay, ignore me. Like, I'm just thinking out loud. It doesn't really matter, right? Like, the doc says you don't need to change this file unless you are looking to connect to a different database outside of the one we are running with Docker, and we're gonna run it with Docker. And then these are, yeah, node keys, blah blah blah. Okay, these are still for partner-chain-dependencies because it says which node to run. This is the new patched version that fixed the bug that the old one had, the 10.5.1 that it had. Okay, so I think we looked at this file enough. We don't need to change anything. So if we go back to the docs, now we have to run the allow command. Okay, and now can I just... Okay, so the environment variables have been populated to the shell because I am in this directory. And then if I exit the directory, it's no longer there. So that's nice, I guess. Okay, so we are done with the configuring of the variables. Docker desktop users, that's not us. So we can launch the dependencies. Yes, we are ready. Yeah, basically this is gonna launch Cardano node, Cardano DB sync, Postgres, and Ogmios. So Kupo is no longer there. And well, basically now we're gonna, okay, after the images are pulled and started, it's gonna take a long time. I don't even know how long it takes now to sync the preview network. But yeah, this is gonna start, may take several hours. Ensure that they are synced before processing. Common errors. Let's see common errors. The error in Cardano DB sync log indicates that PostgreSQL authentication is failing. Okay. The Postgres container may not have initialized with a may have initialized with a different password, and Postgres data volume retained that configuration. If you regenerated the Postgres or change the password in MRC, the Postgres server might still be using the old password. Solution: clear the PostgreSQL data volume. Isn't that gonna clear the whole database? Forcing Postgres to reinitialize with the current Postgres. Okay, hopefully we don't have that issue. Is this what it... okay. So docker ps, my shell is weird. Why? So we have dbsync Postgres, dbsync Ogmios node, and so on. They Postgres is healthy. That's good. And also the password that it generated, right? So we saw that it's going to... where is the password thing? Yeah, it's going to... and it's going to put it in Postgres password. Wherever that is, right? And there we go. Okay, so it generated some password. Okay, and now I can look at some logs from these services. For example, let's check the node first. I saw something red. I don't like that. Oh, but okay, chain extended, new tip, so on. So it seems to be syncing. And then we can look at dbsync. Wait, this is dbsync. This is Postgres. This is dbsync. No, that's the node again. Did I not copy it? bb3. Does it autocomplete? It does not. Okay, we are inserting blocks, so we are on epoch 5 now. Obviously, we're syncing from scratch. So the dbsync database is being populated, node is syncing, everything is syncing. This is going to take some time. So we are not too interested in this. Docker container list, okay, sure. View logs, okay, we just did that. Monitor Ogmios. Let's see. Health check. Last known tip, okay. We are. So Ogmios is working, right? It's showing, it's giving a response. And then, right, we have this thing. We need to install a Postgres client to interact with the database, the Postgres database. And what we want to do is basically check what's the syncing progress. We should be able to use this because we have the Postgres password is exported as a environment variable. So, oops. So, okay, it doesn't work. Why not? Should it be PG password? I don't know. Anyway, I have the password here. So I'm gonna copy it and it is correct. Optionally login using Docker. Oh, wait a second. We can use this. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because we just go into the container and then we run PSQL and then we don't need any password. Okay, either way, if we run this query, we show we are 1% synced here, 1% synced because we are looking at the same database. And that's it. All right, so that's the partner chains dependencies being set up. And they are now syncing. And we need a lot of time for them to sync. And now it's 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. my time. So when I come back, I will tell you how long it took. I'll try. Okay. That's the first part, setting up the dependencies. When these are all synced, we can move on to the next part, which is registration and running the Midnight node. All right, so how long did it take? I don't really know. I think it's about, I lost track, but it's about 2 or 3 days, something like that. Probably it's gonna depend on the host machine as well. So, but it's definitely a considerable amount of time. So let's check the dbsync database to see the syncing progress, and it's 99.99%. So it's synced, right? We can do Docker logs. What is it, like tail, Cardano dbsync, maybe Docker log. that works. So tail. Okay. So yeah, the most recent logs are inserting blocks. So as the node is syncing, it's inserted blocks. That looks good. So we are basically done with configuring partner chains dependencies. One thing I want to show, actually better I show it here. So I made this PR to the Midnight Node network, which is very simple. The DB sync version, like I mentioned, like I saw, it's 0.4. It should be 0.5. I don't know how big of a deal is it if you run it with 0.4. I'm guessing it's not that big of a deal because, you know, it hasn't been updated on the repo, but definitely, like, based on the communications on this Discord announcement, it should be 0.5. I just added this restart for Postgres. Every other service has it except Postgres for some reason. So before you run the partner chains, I suggest changing this to 0.5, unless this PR by the time you're watching this video is already merged, and in which case it will just be 0.5 when you clone the repo. Okay, so that's it. So now we are ready for the next step, which is to register the validator, and then the next step is just running the node. So we need Postgres and Ogmios accessible. Okay, we haven't checked Ogmios. So if we look at the compose file, and this is the Midnight Node compose file, this is the partner chase, and then if we look at Ogmios here, it's gonna run on 1337. So if we curl our local host on 1337 and then do a health, we'll see that yeah, current epoch 1148. So it's following the node and the network is preview and everything's good. So our Ogmios is ready to go as well. We will need the Cardano keys that I mentioned before that I copied here. So we need the pool signing key, the cold signing key, and the payment signing and verification keys for the transaction. All right, that's all the prerequisites that we need. So here it's saying, you know, if we are on the same instance, which in this video we are, we should clone the repo, but we already cloned it. It's the same repo, so it's Midnight Node Docker repo, right? The one I have here. So the compose partner chains is what we were using, and then compose.yaml has the Midnight Node service that we're gonna run now. And now here they have this Midnight Node sh script, which basically, first of all, this so the partner chain CLI wizards, which is like what we use for to register the validator, needs this PC chain config thing, and then this exists for a given testnet, right? So then it says if we're using this script, it will be automatically mounted from this envs file. So I guess that if we look here, there is no partner chains JSON. Yeah, but it's in envs, right? Yeah. So I guess just by running this, it will copy it over or something. No such container. Okay, cool. I thought this was supposed to run the container. But, no. Midnight Node with, yeah, okay. Midnight shell, so, let me not jump ahead. Okay, this is like what the wizard should look like, but we are not running the Midnight Node container. It executes from Midnight Node. So we'll call Midnight Shell. This will say container does not exist. So we will pull the image and run it. And it automatically enters the container. This is our container ID, 91 blah, blah, blah. Okay. So this will mount the data directory and put you in the midnight node. I mean, we can also inspect the script. So if it doesn't exist, we start it. And you see it copies that thing to the root of the container, the JSON, the config chain configs JSON, and it enters the container. Okay, so we are inside the container here, and now here in the container we have this thing. Yeah, basically this is what the script does, right? To enter the container with bash. And now we need to generate the keys. So we are in the container. Here, the Midnight Node wizards should be available, right? So if we run this thing here, we don't have it, but because we are running .sh, right? Yeah. So let me check this midnight. Yeah, this thing doesn't even exist. Why is it in the docs? Midnight. Maybe they meant midnight shells. I'm not sure. I think this part of the docs is a bit confusing. Because no, we do have midnight node sh. Oh right, because I'm in the container. So exec midnight node. Okay, it just enters the container. So if it's not running, it says like it gives us the error message that we got that the container is not running. So right, you can use midnight node from the host machine, but now we are already in the midnight node container, so we'll just execute it from here. So we need to create the keys, generate the keys, and then so we can use this command, midnight node generate the keys, node base path. Yeah, that this is just where the keys will be saved. So now we should have do we have a data directory here? Yes, chains, undeployed, key store, network. Okay, so we end up with this structure here. We have all the keys for the node, and we have the network node key. And then they're saying move it. Basically, just rename this undeployed to partner chains template. All right, this is yeah, why do we need R? I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, so we moved it. Okay, so this is a mistake. It shouldn't be R. It should be R if we're using copying, but for move, we don't use it. All right, so now we have this, basically this directory has been renamed. That's it. Make Cardano keys accessible to the container now. Yeah, so we need to copy our Cardano keys to the container, right? This is where we're running all the midnight node stuff. So we can use, so from here, where is my, okay, my Cardano keys are here. Okay, so I'm gonna Docker copy my Cardano keys. Okay, it's not auto-completing for some reason, but okay. And then I need the Docker container ID, which is this. And then I'm gonna put it in this. I'm gonna call the folder to Cardano keys. Right? Is this gonna create a double folder. I hope not. If I ls Cardano keys. No. Okay. So Cardano keys has been copied into the container. We have access to those now. Yeah, and now we are just gonna register. So we're gonna use the midnight node wizards. There is register 1, 2, and 3 like before, and we need to follow some prompts inside. So first of all, it's gonna ask us where is it gonna, which Ogmios service is gonna use. Now, if you ever have a problem with the Ogmios service on your end, I'm gonna use my local one, or at least I'm gonna try. But I did see that there is a public service, and then I don't know like where they put the, yeah, there we go. So this is accessible or not, I don't know. Yes, looks like it's working. So you can target this Ogmios if you want to. It's like a public service, which should work just as well. But let's try to target our own. So we'll use HTTP, and then yeah, localhost should work. Well, if we are inside a container, like the service is called Cardano Ogmios, so we could target either by container name or container IP. And I guess if we target localhost, it should also work. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, let me see. Yeah, it's failed to connect to localhost. Okay, interesting. So let me say Cardano Ogmios. It's also failing to connect. Okay. Let me get my server IP directly. Okay, now it's working. So why doesn't it? Okay. And now I'm gonna try to use this service. So we'll target it with HTTPS, and the host name is without this 1337. Ogmios testnet 2 midnight network. Yeah, that's fine. API reference. Oh yeah, maybe because we are from the Docker. I don't know if we need to enable some networking for outside of the host machine. Okay. Anyway, there should be a way to make this work because obviously the service is running. But for now, I'm just gonna use my server IP, which is this server, which is like the same as localhost, but localhost is not resolved properly. And then we need to give it the path to the verification key, which in my container is Cardano keys and then payment.vkey. And now it's gonna query the UTXOs. Okay, and it finds it, so that's good. Yeah, right, that's it for the register 1 command. Then if we look at the docs, we expect to get an output for register 2 commands, and then we just copy and paste that, which is great. Oops. Okay, so I'm copying and pasting that so it involves the UTXO and our public keys and the sidechain signature. And now we need the pool cold key. So for me, that's in Cardano keys cold.skey. And that's it. And we get the output for register 3. And then we'll see what that requires. But basically, this created the this created the register3 command. So we got the public keys, and we add the SPO public key and signature. Wait, it's asking for the same key again. One second. Did I? Yeah, I didn't copy the command. Okay, that's why. I did not copy the command properly. So I need to copy the register3 command. And now it's asking for the payment key, which makes sense because now we're gonna finally submit the transaction. So again, Cardano keys payment.skey. Again, we need to say where is our Ogmios instance. And we submit the transaction, and now we wait for the transaction to be registered on the chain. They say there is a known issue with register3 querying the Postgres database, which I think should happen like after the transaction is registered, probing, then transaction output, and then show registration output, yes. And then it should have the Postgres string. Okay, we'll see if that works or not. But don't worry, the registration was successful. Yeah, I mean, if the transaction went through, the registration should be successful. And so this is the way we can check for the registration. However, we also have this like little helpless script that that I used in the previous video. I think it should still, so this should still work. And then if we get the Aura public key from our config.json, we should be able to use this script. We'll try. Well, this is taking long. Okay, but now we finally have it. And so okay, so now it's asking us, okay, let's query our registration from the Postgres DB. And for that, we need to give it the Postgres connection string. So this is obviously not going to work, but if I go to my .envrc, my Postgres user is user, so it's PostgreSQL Postgres, and then I should use my password, which, if we remember, was created somewhere here. Yeah. So this is my password, and then I'm guessing localhost is not gonna work again because the container cannot resolve the IP. So I'm just gonna put the IP directly in there. 5432 is our port. C Explorer is the database. Let's see if that works. It does not. Okay, great. It doesn't work for a different reason. Chain spec, because that's not the name of the file, right? But it seems to have this command. So if we put the correct JSON spec, maybe it does work. I forgot the name. Is it this? PC chain config? Nah, maybe it's a different file. Anyway, the registration transaction went through, so we'll try to use this script instead to find our registration. And we don't have to do it from the container. We can just do it from the host machine. So I'm gonna create the find registration script here, just pasting the code here. I'll move it to Midnight Node Docker actually, because here, so we need the partner chains public keys JSON, and for me, no, yeah, we only have that. Where was it? Env, testnet, partner key JSON. Right, these are like the initial ones. So actually I need to, so in my container, partner chain public keys. Yeah, these are my keys. So this is what I want to use. So I'm just gonna copy it here. So copy from this Docker container. Is it gonna find it? No, right. Partner chain public keys JSON. So copy from there to here. And okay, and now it's the same name. So chmod, make this executable, and then if we find registration, let's see what happens. Nice, it found it. So we are in the current epoch 1148. We are looking at 1150 because 2 epochs is what it takes for the registration to be valid. Like that's when this registration will be valid. And then we look again, I say again because in the previous video we did the same thing. We take a look at the stake delegation, which is the delegation that the pool has and is valid, is true. So the registration is valid. Great. We have successfully registered our validator. This part of the docs, which with query the current epoch, then query this for n+2 epochs, is exactly what this script does, basically, right? So we query the current epoch, then we say we're looking at epoch +2, and then the difference is we use jQuery here to select our Aura pub key instead of, you know, just scrolling through all the candidate registrations, because there might be a lot of them. And then the last part is like if we want to deregister, but we don't want that. So the last part is running the node. And what does the node need? Let's see, Postgres, okay. Midnight Node is available as a Docker image, okay. I'm guessing, yeah, so this list all, like, yeah, Midnight Node, yeah, we exited. So when we use the shell, the Midnight Node just runs the container, runs the Midnight Node container. As soon as we exit the shell, it closes the container. But that container, the Midnight Node, is the same node that we have to always run so that it syncs and so on. So now we're just going to run the same thing, but in a different way, which is just, you know, run the node and leave it running. Okay, data chains, partner chains template. Oh, shit. We should have copied that to the host machine, right? Yeah, we need to copy the data chains, partner chains into the root directory of the project. So we have it now. So let me try to run Midnight Shell again. Midnight Shell, right? Is it the same? It's the same, right? It doesn't start a new one. Docker docker container list created 20 minutes ago. Yeah, it connected to the same one. Okay, so we have the data here, and okay, I get my ID. So I'm gonna do docker copy from this container the directory data, and I'm gonna copy it to here data. So do I have the tree command here? Tree. I don't. I'm not gonna install it. So ls data, and then we have chains. Wait. This is not right. ls data. ls data chains. Okay, this is right. And what is in data? Data chains. But what is it? Okay, I think something we have a duplicate, right? So if I ls chains, we have our template and we have our key store there. And if I go into data, we have our chains again, and again our partner chains templates. So yeah, it is duplicated. Is it duplicated inside the container, or is it duplicated because of docker copy some stuff? Ls data. I'm guessing it's duplicated here. Yes, it is. So this is data chains. This is it's not a problem, I guess, but it's just weird that following the instructions leads you to this. But it's okay. We do have this template of data chains for whatever reason. And then we simply need to start the node since we have this data. Why? Because compose for the midnight node is going to config preset connection string node key, and node key is midnight node private key. Okay, and yeah, it's gonna load the data volumes, and it's gonna load the chain config. Yeah, so this data volume that we copied over here, it's gonna load, and that's what it needs to run. And if it has that, it should be able to pick up everything it needs. So all we do is docker compose up, and we say we'll run it in detached mode. And now we are hopefully running the node. We can midnight node. This one should be killed. Up 3 minutes. Why? I'm gonna kill this container because this is the container we used to do the registration. And as you can see, like, we have 2 midnight nodes, the 9181. Okay, and docker container remove force. I hope I don't kill anything. It shouldn't. So now we have only this container ID running, which we just started with compose, and we can say docker logs and then this thing, and we can no such container. There is such a container. Docker logs. Oh, sorry, what? I didn't copy it. I was targeting the old container which I removed. Okay. Okay, and then if we follow, we can follow the logs. Um, so what do they say? Role full database, creating index tx out address, and this may take a while. All right, so it's taking already like close to 2 minutes. I don't know how long it should take, but we'll see. Basically, if everything's okay, the node is going to sync, right? It's going to show logs like syncing, it's going to show peers and so on. It's going to sync the midnight blocks, and then your node will be eligible to produce blocks in n+2 epochs since registration. So if you register, in our case, 1148, and start the validator node on 901, then you won't be seeing blocks until 902. So in epoch 1150 is when my node should be producing blocks, or should be eligible to produce blocks, if it gets selected to produce a block. But yeah, so the most important part now is that we see that the node starts syncing, which should start after this index is created, which is being created on the Postgres database. At the same time, what I wanted to show is the memory usage. So I'm running partner-chain-dependencies and midnight node. Midnight node, as far as I asked on Discord, like, what's the current usage? It's about 4 gigabytes of RAM on this preview testnet, and so I have like 13.5 used for the partner-chain-dependencies, and then +4 for the midnight node. That will be like 17, 18. So a server with like 24 gigabytes is should be good enough to run both. Of course, if you wanna run them on separate servers, you can, and like if you check the previous videos, the on how to do that, which is like a little bit different from what we did now, but just targeting the instance, targeting the services on another server is all that's different, really. Yeah, that's the memory usage, and that's it. I'm gonna pause until this is done. And there we go. That really did take a while, about an hour actually. And now, okay, I'm gonna stop the log so I can actually read something. Validated transaction. Start session. Epoch. Yeah, so it seems to be syncing. There we go. Right. So that's it. The node is running. And really all that's left to do is wait for some blocks to be created by our node. Thank you for watching. See you.